everyone, and welcome back. Today I will be starting a new kind of series of videos, and I'm calling it one-on-one. So it's going to be kind of tutorials on different steps of the face or the eyes or the nose or whatever it may be, to kind of break down what people find intimidating about makeup and kind of give you tips and tricks and just really go in depth into how the process works. So today I'm starting with cream contouring one-on-one, and I will be giving you, the reasonings and the products that I use and how I really do it, without any kind of skipping over any steps or fast forwarding through certain things. I do show you what products I generally like to use, but in the description box I will be listing products that are more affordable and just as good quality. I just use certain products just because I have them and I have bought them, so I'll be making it easy by listing things down below. And yeah, so if you would like to know how to cream contour your face, then go ahead and keep watching, and don't forget to subscribe to not miss out on all the other mini tutorials and in-depth tutorials that I will be doing that go along with this little series. Today we're going to focus on cream contouring. So first things first, obviously you need to go ahead and apply some kind of foundation. My face is already prepped and primed and moisturized, so I'm going to go in with my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. And I'm just going to squirt some on the back of my hand, this off, and start working this into my skin. And you want to use something like the Beauty Blender to make sure that you are depositing the right amount of product on your face and it doesn't look cakey, because we are going to be applying a lot of products on the face. Cream contouring is generally a good amount of product. So you want to make sure that your foundation is nice and full coverage and light and not cakey. And a good full coverage light consistency foundation is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. Definitely one of my holy grails. And it layers really well, so if you want to apply more coverage on yourself, you can definitely do it with this, which I'm going to do because I see some redness here. And I always want to cover my freckles more. Nothing hold you down, nothing hold you down. No. Now that the base is down, what you want to do is pick up some kind of cream contouring palette. I like to use my Anastasia Beverly Hills cream contour palette in light. Just kidding, in fair, because that's what I am. This is a good one, but I will list products down below that are a little bit more affordable. This is pretty pricey. This is what the inside looks like. To contour, I'll be using this shade mostly, and to highlight, I'll be using a combination of all of the top three. If you do have the Anastasia cream contour kit, I would suggest using some beauty oil to kind of loosen up the color in the pan. So I'll just drop some oil in the pan, just a couple drops, and then I will pick up whatever brush I'm using to contour with, which is going to be the Sigma Precision Flat P80, and I'm just going to mix this oil into the pigment, and it's going to make it a little bit more creamy and a little bit more easy to work with. So with cream contouring, well, in contouring and highlighting in general, you are going to play with the shadows and the lightness in your face. So your shadows are going to go where you want to accentuate your face. So this generally is like the sides of your nose. If you're contouring your nose, it's underneath your cheekbones to make your cheekbones look more lifted. It's underneath your chin area to make your chin look more pronounced. It's to minimize the size of your forehead and things like that. So you want to go and place it underneath your cheekbone. So if you want to take the brush and go from the tip of your ear to the side of your mouth, this is generally where your cheekbone's going to be. So you want to place the product right around in this area, like right here. And just put a little bit of product down, and you are creating yourself basically a more pronounced cheekbone. And you can do the same thing on this. And you can, when you put the brush next to your face like this, you can generally feel where your cheekbone is. So you just deposit some product here, and you want to make sure that both sides are generally even, because the most symmetrical people in the world are perceived as the most beautiful, and that is what you basically do with cream contouring. You are just reshaping your face to look more symmetrical. Depending on the size of your forehead, that's how you want to decide where you're going to place the dark shades on your forehead. If you have a big forehead, you can go all the way around. If you have a forehead like me, which I have a typical forehead, you generally want to go just on the sides to kind of slim it down a little bit. If you have a tiny forehead, if you say have like a 2-finger forehead, you should not be contouring your forehead at all. If you also want, you can go underneath your chin. To make yourself a more defined chin. This also kind of cuts some weight off of you, and it makes you look like you have less fat or deposit or whatever it may be down here. And if you also want, you can go ahead and add a little bit right to the sides right here to make your neck appear skinnier. So once you have those down, you want to highlight. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add a drop of oil in each of these pans, and I'm going to take a concealer brush, and I'm just going to kind of dab the oil in all these 3 colors, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to highlight. So for highlighting, what you want to highlight is where the light shades would hit your face. So this is generally underneath your eyes, because you want to brighten that and make it look less puffy or whatever it may be, on your chin right here, and then right in between your brows basically. And then you also can use this to clean up your contouring, but we're going to do that a little bit after. So I'm going to take my beauty blender and I'm going to start blending things out. So when you're blending out your cream contour on your cheeks, you want to make sure that you're not going below the line that you drew. If you go below the line that you draw, you're going to make your face look more droopy instead of more lifted and more defined. If you accidentally do take this product down a little bit, you can always use some of that concealer later on to kind of make sure that that line is nice and clean and defined. And with cream contouring, or in contouring in general, like if you're bronzing your face, it's not a problem to use like a warm toned color, but if you're contouring and highlighting your face, you want to use colors that are cooler in tone, because that's usually what shadows are. Shadows are never going to be warm toned. They're always going to be cool toned. So you want to use something that's a couple of shades darker than your skin, and you want to make sure that it's cool toned. You want to make sure to keep the product generally in the area that you applied it. Like you don't want to drag it around. So even when it's here, you want to blend it, but you want to basically keep it in that area and just create a very, very blended out shadow. Because if you don't blend it out good enough, it's just going to look like a line. But if you go ahead and you like drag it everywhere, it's also just going to get muddy and look really awful. So you just want to kind of tap around in that area and just buff the product into your skin. And when you add that oil, the buffing into your skin just becomes much, much easier. A little high, so I'm going to use different side of this beauty blender, kind of just wipe that down, and then we can use a concealer later on. And now I'm just going to blend out the concealer. For concealer, obviously you can go and use something that's not in the palette. It really does not have to be something that's just in that palette. I just wanted to go and use that because it was nice and convenient. The concealers are not bad at all in that palette, but I do like a little bit more coverage, so I'm going to use a tiny bit of my Tarte Shape Tape, always say it wrong. I'm just going to wipe up the excess product and just do a little dab of the color in all the places that I did highlight. This is very, very pigmented, so you really don't need a lot, and we already put some down, so this is just kind of going to give us a little bit more coverage and make us look a little bit more alive. And you can always take the concealer and put it over your eye as well to kind of neutralize the color of your lid. And if something itches, don't scratch it. You use a beauty blender to beat the shit out of it. Ah, freaking allergies. I hate them. So now that that is down, you want to go and set your face. So I'm going to be using my Laura Mercier translucent powder and a big fluffy brush like this just to apply this powder everywhere. Wow, there's so much in here. And you want to kind of pat this everywhere on your face instead of rubbing it at first, just so that you're not budging any of that product around. And if you need your makeup to last a long time, go ham with the powder. This just really locks everything in and makes sure that it's not going to be sliding around. Laura Mercier is a boss about this. And if you're using a translucent powder, it will never show up on your skin. And generally, if you're using a good one, it will not have any kind of like flashback, so you're good on caking that on. So after you have that down, I'm gonna go take a contouring powder shade, and I'm just going to go and define the places that I contoured before. So if you want to be very defined, you can use a define brush. If you want to just bronze your face on top of where you contoured, that is up to you. You can use a fluffier brush, but I'm going to go and I'm going to contour a little bit more by using the Luxie 512 small contouring brush. I'm just going to dip into these two colors. These are the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette contouring colors, and this is the middle one, and then this is the dark one. And I'm just going to pick this brush up and kind of go really where I placed that cream contour and just very gently buff some color into here. Because when you put some powder on there, the color kind of disappears a little bit and you just want to liven it up. Try to stay within the lines. You can always clean it up afterwards, but you know, the more precise you are to begin with, the less cleaning up you're going to have to do. Then I'm going to be using a fluffier brush. This is the Luxie 514 blush brush, but I use this to kind of dust color all over, and I'm going to take the same color combinations and just dust this underneath the chin where I contoured my fat folds away, you know. And then I'm going to take that same brush. I'm just going to go, and without any excess product, I'm just going to kind of buff anything that I put on my skin just to make sure that there are no harsh lines and that everything looks really soft and diffuse. And then you're going to take that same beauty blender that you used and the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and we're going to clean things up. So I'm going to take a little bit and start drawing the line from the top of my ear to my corner of the lip. And this is kind of considered baking, but I really only do this for cleaning up purposes. I don't generally leave it on for very long. And just do a couple of nice lines, and this actually makes it really easy to kind of clean up your contouring. And then I'm just going to go and kind of buff it into here. This also makes sure that your product stays nice and put. So I just like to kind of push this into my face, especially in the places where you crease. So it usually is going to be these areas right here. And also if you're going to kind of dab this on your cheeks right here, it's going to really blend in the product, and it's going to make it look more natural and not as harsh in any place that it would be harsh in. And then you can take a big fluffy brush they use to set your face and kind of buff this away. And while you're buffing it away, don't just wipe the product away, because that's going to leave a really sharp line. You want to kind of buff this edge right here and make it look as diffused as you can. And voila, that is it. That is what you can do with contouring. So I'm going to do the rest of my makeup and I will be right back. So to finish the face off, after everything that you have done to it, after the contouring, and if you want to put blush and highlight on, which I usually don't do, I usually just stick to kind of bronzing my face up, you want to make sure to set everything in place. So you basically want to lock in that cream and the powder together, and this kind of sandwiches everything together and makes it nice and set together. And it makes it like not budge. So after having so many products on your face, including that extra cream contouring and then the powder on top, you want to make sure to set everything and kind of make sure that it doesn't slide around and that it locks in and that it doesn't look cakey on your face. So using a setting spray is very, very important. So yeah, I hope that you learned a little bit and can take some of these tips and tricks and apply it to yourself. Like I always mention, what does work for me may not work for you. I'm just giving you like tips and tricks and the general guidelines. If you want to go in with less contour and do lighter shades and make it less pronounced, just make it a little bit more natural. Do you, that's you. Makeup is all about practicing, and it's all about finding out what works for your face and for your everyday daily lives and things of that sort. So I hope that this did help you a little bit. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.